Look at this satellite image of the Korean peninsula at night. China and South Korea glow, but in between is a region of near total darkness. While the rest of East Asia modernized, North Korea remained physically disconnected from the electrical grids of its neighbors. Down on the ground, the state manages the physical reality of its citizens with an extreme, unyielding precision. To get a haircut in North Korea, you must select from a state-mandated list of exactly 15 approved hairstyles for women and 15 for men. Enforcement of these lifestyle rules falls to a branch of authority known as the fashion police. These units monitor public spaces for Western influences. Citizens caught wearing blue jeans risk having their clothing physically destroyed or facing public fines. This surveillance extends to the digital realm through domestic devices like the Arirang smartphone. The operating system is coded to take screenshots at random intervals, which are then archived for government review to ensure the user is not accessing unauthorized media. The regime maintains this level of granular control to protect a specific narrative. Projecting the image of a socialist paradise is a core survival strategy. If unapproved information enters the country, that carefully built reality begins to crumble. Underpinning this is the Songbun system, categorizing all 25 million citizens by family loyalty into 3 tiers: core, wavering, and hostile. This dictates access to food, careers, and housing. The hostile class is viewed with suspicion and legally barred from the capital, Pyongyang. To maintain this hierarchy, the secret police incentivize neighbors and family members to report on one another. By turning social interaction into a series of potential betrayals, the state intentionally erodes the trust required for any form of collective dissent. Where traditional social bonds are severed, the state installs a mandatory substitute, the worship of the Kim family dynasty. This is not treated as a political choice, but as a foundational requirement of North Korean life. Every home and public building must display portraits of the supreme leaders. These images are legally protected. In a fire or flood, citizens face prosecution if they fail to save these portraits before their own personal property or family members. This conditioning is reinforced by the Kwangmyong, a state-run internet. It offers a handful of government-vetted websites, ensuring that most citizens remain isolated from the global internet and any data that contradicts the official party line. By combining forced neighborly suspicion with compulsory worship, the regime attempts to create a society where organization is nearly impossible. This structure ensures that any attempt at a collective uprising faces an immediate threat of internal betrayal. Despite decades of brainwashing and social pressure, the question remains: why does a population facing chronic food shortages not attempt a physical revolt? The primary deterrent is a legal concept known as the law of guilt by association. Under this policy, a single political offense can result in the imprisonment of 3 generations of the offender's family. Shin Dong-hyuk was born into this system. He spent his early life in a political prison camp because the regime held his entire family responsible for an uncle who defected to South Korea. Because of a relative's actions, Shin was born a prisoner. Conditions inside these camps, such as Camp 14, involve 18-hour workdays in mines and near-starvation rations. Shin's experience illustrates the psychological toll of this law. At age 13, he was forced to witness the execution of his mother and brother after reporting their escape plan to the guards. This system of physical control is designed to leverage family bonds against the individual. The regime holds an offender's parents, children, and even unborn descendants responsible for a single political act. The absolute control of the state began to fracture in the 1990s. When the Soviet Union collapsed, North Korea lost its primary source of subsidized oil and food, leading to a famine that killed an estimated 500,000 to 2 million people. The central government's ration system failed entirely during this period. To survive, the population was forced to look outside the state and take economic survival into their own hands. This necessity gave rise to the Jangmadang, or roadside markets. Because the state required men to remain at their official, non-paying government jobs, women became the primary drivers of this new shadow economy, trading goods to keep their families alive. These markets evolved from simple food stalls into underground hubs for unauthorized goods. They created the first significant space in North Korean life that the government did not fully provide for or control. The most disruptive goods are smuggled USB drives containing South Korean media. Watching these films allows citizens to see the prosperity of the outside world, effectively dismantling the state's propaganda regarding global poverty and misery. Viewing this media requires neighbors to huddle together in secret, often with the windows blacked out. This shared risk is beginning to rebuild the trust between citizens that the secret police has spent decades trying to destroy. Furthermore, the rise of the market has introduced widespread corruption. Many state officials now accept bribes to overlook illegal media or unauthorized travel, suggesting that the regime's strict laws are losing their absolute authority. By attempting to regulate every human impulse, the dictatorship created a void that only the black market could fill. The resulting flow of information and the necessity of mutual trust are creating internal pressures that the regime can no longer fully suppress.